this month, March, planning board meeting to order. First up on the agenda, Warren's here, yeah, Alchemy Pure. George, how good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. Alchemy Pure resolution. So what this is we gave an approval and they had a temporary license and now they have their permanent license. And they were due to come back to us to get approval going forward now that they have a permanent license from the state. Did everyone get a chance to review the resolution? Right. Okay, so Warren, we're just we don't have to do like seeker, we have to do seeker or anything like that, right? We just
Don't have to what?
we have to do seeker or anything. We can just go right to the resolution. How that's all right. So I will read the resolution. No one had any questions or issues with the resolution?
Nope.
All right. Town of Pine Plains Planning Board resolution approving application of Alchemy Pure LLC for a renewal of site plan and special use permit for its cannabis packaging manufacturing facility. Whereas the planning board by resolution dated July 26, 2023 approved the special use permit and site plan application of Alchemy Pure LLC, right? It's LLD.
Yeah. I dashed it out, so probably might be a lot of typos in there.
LLC for a portion of the premises located at 2775 Church Street, New York, State Route 199, Pine Plains, New York, for a cannabis packaging manufacturing facility with conditions. A copy of said resolution is annexed here too. And whereas the resolution required the applicant to submit a further application to the planning board on or before May 5th, 2024 for renewal of the site plan and special permit by demonstrating, among other things, the operation has been conducted in full compliance with the rules and regulations of the Office of Cannabis Management and all permitting of this facility by the Office of Cannabis Management, here after known as OCM, has been continued or renewed so as to permit the operation of this facility, either as an adult use conditional processor or other duly issued permit by the Office of Cannabis Management for the facility. And whereas the applicant submitted an application to the planning board for renewal of the site plan and special permit on or about.
I wasn't sure of the date.
Okay, we'll fill that in, for the January meeting. And whereas the application was reviewed by the planning board at its February 12th, 2025 and March 12th, 2025 meetings, and whereas the applicant has provided proof to the planning board that this facility has been operated in compliance with the rules and regulations of the permit conditions issued for this facility by the OCM, including the operating plan and site plan for this type of facility. And whereas the applicant has demonstrated that there has been no on-site retail sales or distribution of cannabis products from the facility, and all products from the on-site processing have been removed from the site and composted off-site in accordance with the rules and regulations of the OCM. And whereas the applicant has demonstrated that it is continue to maintain an air scrubber system as represented to the planning board during the course of the public hearing, and whereas the applicant has submitted further evidence to the planning board that the operation has been conducted in compliance with the rules and regulations of the Office of Cannabis Management, and all permitting of this facility by the OCM has been continued or renewed so as to permit the operation of the facility as an adult use conditional processor or other duly issued permit by the OCM. And whereas the town code enforcement officer has informed the planning board that the applicant has not violated any terms or conditions of the special permit or site plan approval. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby renews the special permit and site plan approval for Alchemy Pure LLC cannabis packaging facility, and be it further resolved that the applicant shall in the future provide proof to the town's code enforcement officer of the continued operation in accordance with the applicable laws and rules and regulations as set forth in the original resolution on a yearly basis rather than filing renewal applications with the planning board. And be it further resolved. And be it further resolved that in the event the applicant fails to abide by any terms of the conditions or conditions of the original site plan approval or special permit approval, the planning board continues to reserve the right to take appropriate action to revoke the said site plan or special use permit as provided in the original resolution. Warren, I just have one question with the second resolve. So because we're saying, go back to the original resolution, we don't have to specifically state that they have to present the license, the renewed license,
No, just comply with the original resolution, which you're gonna
and that has,
annex to that.
and in the original resolution, it speaks of providing the license.
So whatever they were required to do in the original, pursuant to the original resolution, they're still be required to present that to the code enforcement also.
Do we have that original resolution? Thank you. Sorry. Brian, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing all right.
I didn't hear anything.
Sorry, guys. It's a talk. Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. All right, can I have a motion to accept the resolutions?
Second?
All right. I'll second. Let's have a roll call vote. Al?
Aye. Yes.
Chip?
Yes.
Ethan?
Abstain,
Abstain.
same as last year. Marijuana is still federally illegal.
I thought you voted no, but it's fine.
Nope.
Abstain.
I
Okay.
abstain.
And I vote aye. The resolution was carried by a vote of 2, 3, 4. 2-0 with 1 abstention. And 2 absences, but 4 is a quorum, so that's fine. Okay, so vote of the planning board members on March, today's the 12th, right? French. It's the one typo. All right, are they here or?
Yes, I'm here. On the Zoom.
Okay. All right, so you're all set. Just make sure every year you on your renewal, you submit to Ed or whoever is the code enforcement officer, your renewed license. Otherwise, and then you should be good to go.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. They're all paid up, or they have escrow. Okay, good. All right, thank you. All right, next up on the agenda. All right, so Stissing. Okay, I see you already removed it. All right, the Hudson Company. Hello, how are you? Good, but busy. We have a site plan special use permit, lot line adjustment, initial application. So do you want to come up over here and we have up.
With the whole presentation for you.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes,
Okay, everybody. Thank you for having me. My name is Jamie Hamill. I'm the founder of the Hudson Company. It's been about 6 months since we were here this summer. And in that time, I hope you've been thinking about the Hudson Company campus as much as I have. You're getting enthusiastic about it, enthused. Actually, we've had a lot of enthusiasm from people. People from the town board have reached out to us, planning board, the zoning board. Representative Dee Dee Barrett reached out to us. So we have a lot of love and enthusiasm for this project, which is great. No one is more excited about this project than the Hudson Company staff. We have about 30 people who can't wait to be that much closer to Moose on the Loose and Stewart's Barbershop. And we also have about 5 or 10 people who live in Catskill, Hudson, and Pauling, who now that they know this will be a permanent home for Hudson, they want to move to Pine Plains. So just in the last few weeks, I've been working with Rich Brenner, looking for properties and housing for our team. So that's also really exciting for us. To make this dream a reality, since I last came and presented, we have expanded the team. So we've been working very closely with Brent Buck Architects, and we've got Brent Buck here in the back, and Isaac Pollan, Labella, Karen Labruto. I think you've worked with both of these firms on other projects throughout the over time. And Dan Larry, our lawyer, who was here with me last time. And I'm going to transition this over to Isaac, who's going to make a presentation. I just want to say one thing. This has been so fun designing this project. It's been very exciting. It's going to be spectacular and beautiful. The challenge that I personally have had is that the costs are going through the roof. Steel has gone up 30% per square foot since I was here in August. That is my problem, not your problem. I only ask that we move as expeditiously as possible because costs are only going to keep rising. So we are ready, willing, and able to put a shovel in the ground once everybody in the room is comfortable. But that was my one request tonight, is that if there's any way to be efficient, well. So this is Isaac Pollan. He's going to walk you through the plan.
Hey, everybody. We also brought a few printed visual aids. We'll also be showing those on the screen, but since we are all here in person, do you mind if I lay these out for you guys? There's another one underneath, which feel free to flip through. But yeah, as David said, it's meet somebody approached for the first time. And we're very excited about this project, and we think it's going to be a beautiful project and a beautiful addition to Pine Plains. So if we want to dive in, yeah, as Jamie said, this is a project that's meaningful to town and meaningful to the folks who work at the Hudson Company already. And it's our ambition to create a beautiful space for them and a beautiful space that's also public facing and a space that people from the town and from outside of the town will come to be a beacon in Pine Plains. And here are just a few images of some of the beautiful projects that the Hudson Company and Jamie Hamill have done in the past. As you guys likely know, they deal in wood products, floors, siding, beams, etc. And we're excited to do what we can to continue momentum to that end. So here is part of the extensive submission that you guys have received from the Labella team. As Jamie mentioned, we're joined by Karen Labruto tonight. This is the parcel plan. And then if we move on to the next page, we can see a clear delineation of the conjoined parcels that Jamie alluded to earlier. So the largest red dashed line marks the total extent of the site. The finer red dashed line indicates the two conjoined parcels, and the blue dotted lines indicate drainage easements through the site. Go to the next page. So here we see an aerial rendering of the site in its entirety. In the lower left hand of the page, we see what will function as an office showroom space. Thank you, Brent. So
It's always been my dream to do that.
Need a pointer?
Yeah, I do a lot of talking, so this is
You
great.
should have brought the laser pointer.
Yeah.
But then the folks on Zoom can see. So the office showroom will be where a chunk of Jamie's team will be working, doing administrative work, sales and coordination as it relates to the mill and the warehouse. Also in that building will be a showroom space where clients who will visit this property will be able to see a lot of the products that the Hudson Company have to offer, whether those products be hung on the wall in the showroom or in fact partially integrated into the architecture itself. Also in that building will be meeting rooms and other gathering spaces. One notable gathering space is the entry space, which will function essentially as a communal living room, both for visitors to the showroom, but also for people in the mill and for anybody who may visit the campus. So then you'll see visitor parking is here center of the page. Thank you, Brent. And that would be the primary point of access for those who are coming to the site as visitors. And then to their right, they would see both the mill building and the warehouse building. So the warehouse will be used predominantly for storage. The mill building will be used predominantly for production. And the building between is a connector building, which will also house some office spaces as well as function as an enclosed connector so that material can move between the mill and the warehouse.
In the art gallery.
And the art gallery, thank you. Also part of that connector on the office showroom facing side of that building, there will be an art gallery space, which could highlight anything, but we imagine it highlighting people who perhaps deal with wood crafts, things that are related to what the Hudson Company is all about. So if we go to the next page, we just have a few zoom ins there. So here we're seeing a little more up and close, the office showroom space, visitor parking. And then if we go to the next slide, we see the warehouse, and we also see a open air covered space that will be used for a variety of uses. We're also seeing employee parking off the back, which would loop around that open air shed, as well as access for trucks to load and unload and do all those sorts of things. Here we're seeing another view of the office showroom space. So this is essentially the view that someone who would be parking in visitor parking would first encounter as they look to their left as they head towards the office showroom space. So in the exterior space between the office showroom and the mill warehouse is a large open courtyard. And, we've affectionately been referring to this as a campus project because it's not just about the buildings themselves, but it's about the spaces between and a lot of the nice public facing experience that comes with that. So we could imagine things such as, evening s'more sessions by the exterior chimney or, any sorts of like picnic field days and things like that, nice things that would be, outdoor and lovely in relations to these buildings. And here you're seeing the front door, a covered front door with an accessible ramp in the center of the image. And then you're also looking through that, the larger glass opening on the left-hand side of the page into the showroom space. So you can see some of the Hudson Company panels on the wall in that space. Another view of the exterior area and the sort of sculptural elements that we think could populate this outdoor space. And then to just briefly touch on materiality, we feel that it's important to work with materials that are natural and native to the place. So that would be, you know, weatherboard siding, it would be local masonry, landscape would feel native and, you know, similar to what you might find anywhere else in this, in, you know, your forays along these various beautiful roads here. And then also we think it's part of this exterior experience, we might have some natural features like some of the Hudson Company beams, things like that, that would begin to act as sculpture in the land. And yeah, we just wanted to briefly go over the fact that Labella did submit a very comprehensive set of 18 drawings here, and we don't want to get into all of that today unless you guys want to. Karen is here and ready to answer any of those questions, but we hope that that is a comprehensive submission, and as Jamie said, gives you guys the things you need to make a decision on how we can take this to the next step. So here you see the site plan from Labella, which is, you know, I think we've already touched on the ideas here from the aerial, but you can see it here in hard lines. And if we go to the next page, there's a diagram that clearly outlines the different programmatic elements of the project as a whole.
Yeah, so just to orient yourself, there's an existing warehouse there. That's what's highlighted here. Help you kind of place yourself on the site. Like Isaac said, a showroom and office here, a mill here, and more production and storage back here. So we basically go from a public client facing thing that this, you know, the town really sees facing this direction and the main road as you come into Pine Plains. And then we gradate back to essentially parking. So we're trying to mask this as much as possible and put some of this forward facing program that is ideally more beautiful for people as they drive past or have the ability to engage with. You know, these spaces become community spaces. You know, they're part of the Hudson Company, but you know, a gallery and a showroom and an office, there's lots of opportunity for Jamie and the Hudson Company to have a gallery opening that invites everybody from the town or the surrounding area. And we visualize this as something that isn't just for the Hudson Company, but it's something for the, you know, for Pine Plains.
Yeah.
And that's something that's visible as you drive by. So and I think the landscape's a critical part of this. It's a relatively large parcel of land. There's a lot of program that's on here, but one of our next critical steps is to begin to weave in some of that natural landscape. You can see it in the renderings, that's a first take on it, but really try to naturalize the site as much as possible. So while there is some blacktop and permeable gravel and buildings made out of wood, there really is a huge landscape component to this that we think will only enhance the place, you know, for Pine Plains. Yeah. I also think one of the really interesting things about the building, which we started talking about very recently with Jamie, is that a lot of the building parts and pieces from beams to the structure of the building would be fabricated by the Hudson Company in Pine Plains. And then a builder would put that together here. And I think that's really a critical part of the architectural story. I think it's also just an interesting part of, you know, the history of this place in Pine Plains, that those materials could be from the surrounding area, that they're milled in this location and erected here to show people, you know, from a greater area of what can actually be produced by the Hudson Company.
Yeah, the Labella team, Karen and her team also put together a comprehensive lighting plan for exterior lighting. We know that's an important issue and consideration for you guys, so just wanted to highlight that here. If you have more questions about that, I'm sure Karen would be happy to respond to any of those. And if we go to the next slide, these are some images of the specifications that are noted in the drawings, and we don't really need to spend more time with them than that.
I mean, an important consideration is that they're downlights.
Yeah.
So the lighting is pointed down, not pointed up.
Dark sky.
Dark sky compliant.
Yeah.
That's you know, obviously our goal, and from our previous interactions with you guys in the previous project with you, we understand the importance of that.
And Kelvin
It's
more,
3,000 or less.
3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2,700 and 3,000.
And the goal, I know in our previous conversations, 2,700 was always a goal and 3,000 is right there. So, it's not going to be a bright blue light.
Well, and if we want to bring them lower, we can look and see if those models come with lower Kelvin. That was what the light.
Yeah, we're trying to get to 2,800 and under now, right? That's what we're supposed to be doing. But,
2,700 is a great goal.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
certainly
yeah.
feasible. So I mean, I think that's our.
Yeah, I mean, if ideally, so
Yeah.
we'll see, if this. Sorry, okay, okay. Can we go back to the, are you done with the presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, can we go back to the slide that had like the buildings? It was like an overview with the property lines and then keep going. This one, whoop. Is it this
I
one?
think there was one that was highlighted earlier on.
Oh,
You want to go with the red?
I think it's the one after this page 15.
We'll go down.
Yeah, page 15, this one. I think is what.
yeah, so what's this visitor access over here on the top?
We were just noting that there's an existing footbridge there, so that would be an additional point of pedestrian access on foot to the backside of the office showroom.
It's where the cabins are now.
There's no planned parking in that location that has a.
This is a cabin.
Yeah, so this is an existing footbridge. And Stewart's, the new Stewart's is over here, just to orient you, and this is Dale's cabins.
82.
Where's 82 and so it's all the way over here? And what does that say? What's the dotted line I'm looking at with the arrows pointing at? I can't read that from here. What does that say?
That's the edge of it says edge of federal wetland.
Ah,
The stream.
Yes.
So that's the Ped Bridge across the stream to where those cabins are now, which is the property that Jamie will be acquiring from Dale. That 6.8 acre parcel.
can we pull this up on Google Maps or parcel access, one of the two, please? Satellite view.
So just to be clear, the pedestrian bridge is there. We're not.
I understand. So that's into the cabins area. I'm just trying to understand where 82 is in relation to the new.
Left side.
You don't have an elevation of the building from like, example elevation from what's it gonna look like from like coming on 82 there, like from the corner.
I visualized it as we drove by it today, but we don't have one in the presentation. It's certainly something we can create because we have the
2436.
we have the entire, we have the project modeled in 3D, so that's a relatively easy.
Yeah, if we could see that, because that's gonna be key.
Sorry.
Right, it's 2436.
Or 77027
Well,
Main Street.
2436.
Yeah, Route 83, right? The number would be 2436, then the street would be red. 82.
You're so man.
Okay, so just grab it and bring it down. Well, no, that good, thank you. All right, so, okay, so I see, all right, so that makes more sense now,
So essentially, the showroom office space is here.
right, and there's,
Visitors parking is more or less like, there's an existing curb cut here.
Right.
Penetration through some stone walls. This is the existing footbridge. There's an existing culvert over here. And so this is the existing warehouse. The mill building is planned for here and with parking and accoutrement covered storage back in this location here.
and you're going to be acquiring the property all the way up to Stewart's driveway, is that right?
Comes.
Yeah, all the way to there, okay. And what do you plan on doing where the sheds are now? What's gonna be there? Just,
Yeah, so he has no immediate plan, but what's shown on the site plan is that the smaller sheds would be demolished eventually, and the larger building will be retained. He'll probably just use it for administrative office storage, nothing real major at this point. But I think that, you know, they wanted to have greater control over the property and the property that he has currently is obviously not large enough to house what he needs, so he had to, you know, acquire additional land from Dale, and it just made sense to get greater control all the way up to that driveway by.
So it's not a lot coverage issue, it's just like a control issue.
I don't actually know what a lot coverage issue is, but I definitely wanted to know what was happening here.
Nice.
What he means by lot coverage is often zoning, there's a total lot coverage permitted, like a maximum. And you have to obviously have enough area that your maximum isn't being overcome by your development.
Right.
So in that case,
Which
you
is
didn't have
not
that problem.
the case, right. Yeah, we could have fit it all on the,
Right.
on the current property, but more green space. You know, the vision really was sort of like this Northern California vineyard, wanted as much green space surrounding it as possible. Tall grasses, and that was just, there's a stream going there. It's really kind of beautiful if it was cleaned up a little bit.
Okay, can we go back to the plan now, please? Okay, do we have, now, was there another one that was slightly more zoomed out?
The page before is just an overall site plan.
This one, okay, yeah. Okay. It's weird, it's freaking me out how, so there's 82, so okay, so you're gonna see the building like on a corner.
Yeah, you're really, when you
Hmm.
drive by, you're driving by, you're seeing the first glimpse. There's a house here, there's a red barn over here. You're driving through here and you're seeing into this,
Right.
and you're probably not seeing the parking, which I would argue is, you know, intentional and good. Then there's a bit of forestry here, you know, there's a good bit of planting through here, so this structure is really seen through, you know, a series of semi-mature trees, which I think is a nice thing. And then you're filtering back to this existing warehouse and the new mill, looking through, you know, this beautiful chimney, some stonework, and this courtyard, so that, you know, as you're approaching Pine Plains from Route 82, you're not confronted with.
Is this some sort of sculpture or something on the front? Or a
There's-
piece
that
of
is a-
wood?
That is a,
A conceptual, just idea? Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
just speaking to what
Mm.
we've just been talking about, the idea of these spaces outside of the buildings being part of the experience and being part of the natural world that someone who's visiting the site would experience, seems like a nice thing, and the sculpture is a suggestion of that ambition.
And this current rock wall there, right, all the way from,
there is a current rock wall that is sort of through, I want to say it's kind of like right through there that exists.
and not on the other, and what about on the other part where the sheds are? There's no rock wall up there?
I don't remember, I think there may be, it's pretty long. Yeah.
This driveway. But the rock walls that exist currently on the site, which have been manipulated pretty significantly over the last few years, are proposed to be removed because they are in the way of the development and or utility infrastructure that's required.
Will they be replaced?
I will say the amount of rock wall that we're proposing here far exceeds the amount of rock wall that exists there.
Yeah.
And I also think that the rock walls that we intend to place there are fitting with the history of this place and farm wall, you know, rock farm walls and the history of that in this
Mhm.
area that you find on any property around here.
So there will be a wall replaced
So
along 82 or
So
no?
so rather than putting it here,
Okay,
we have a rock wall that does
There.
this. We have rock walls
Got
here, we have
So,
rock
yeah.
walls here, so there's a significant linear footage of rock wall that adds to the experience of the building.
and what about connecting to the sidewalk system? I don't know how much foot traffic you would get, but would that be an option or?
That sidewalk stops at Stewart's.
At Stewart.
On the other side of Stewart's.
Yeah.
There's not a sidewalk
Right,
currently through here.
I thought I had it when you said you were going to do gallery, is in your plan, you talk about. The physical space by our law would require 97 parking spaces and you're proposing 32. Which sounds fine for 30 employees for sure. But to have an open gallery and events, would that amount of parking be satisfactory. To if you had a big art event that you expected, 75 people are gonna show up. How are you gonna, because they aren't gonna park on the side of the road on 83. That would be not really very safe. So that's something.
Yeah, I think that's a consideration that we haven't really hashed out yet. My sense is that gallery events would be very limited. It would be like a very minor accessory happening for the mill. And I think the point he's coming with is very relevant, obviously. There's oftentimes events like this, deal with shuttles, people being shuttled from one place to the other, or, perhaps you have, some sort of limited, yeah.
So Jimmy, what are you envisioning for this gallery? Like, what would this look
My
like?
real vision is, we have architects and designers coming in from around the country, New York City, Los Angeles, they fly in, they come to this beautiful campus. We greet them in they get driven up, they park here, they walk through this beautiful stone courtyard. They come into the office in the showroom and we're greeting them and it's a nice big welcoming kitchen when they first walk in. So we're serving them a cup of coffee. We take them through the showroom. And then everybody wants to see what is the production like? Where, how do you make these antique floors? And instead of just dropping them right into a forklift path or a saw, they're gonna have to walk through this really beautiful curated. What's the square footage?
Square footage, it's 45 by 14. Yeah.
600 square foot art gallery where we're going to display. We make these silly little wood plinths out of antique barn beams. So just to put 4 beams together to make a big square, and then we'll put a piece of ceramics on it from a local ceramicist. We'll have a painting from painter friends that we have. So it's just another way for them to enjoy the experience. That's honestly the primary way that space will get used. But I also envision, in the spring, a Memorial Day kind of open house or a summer open house where maybe we have serving some kind of food in the courtyard. And we invite everybody to come and hang out and walk around the property. There will be no production happening on that day. We call our friend Jack Banning and say, Jack, do you think we could borrow your parking lot across the street and let people park in your new event space? And then maybe we have a shuttle running them back and forth. That might happen once or twice a year. If it's a success, that'd be great. But I don't envision like a festival of rock bands for 3 days and hundreds of people coming in. Darn.
So
I didn't like that. I'm happy to change. I said we are going to do that.
So on the top near Stewart's, the line, it looks like, so the line's gonna be before you get to the driveway there, is that correct? The amount of property you're acquiring does not include the access road that goes through.
Where is the
Stewart's is on the top left,
Yeah, where's the gravel on this map?
gravel.
If you pull your cursor down, there's 2 gravel lots, other way. There you go.
Here, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Karen, we're here. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
all of this.
That's
actually.
you, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that so Stewart's here,
Right, so this is Stewart's right here, see that road, access road from Stewart's, right? That's how you would get to where the sheds are right now,
Yep, right here, right?
right there, yeah. So are you gonna have an easement
Yes,
on that piece? Okay.
cross access. Yeah, there's a number of easements that are going on with this project. There's drainage easements, there's cross access easements.
So technically you could use that gravel little area up there. And then people could walk across the bridge or
The bridge,
whatever, or the culvert.
I think that Jamie was also thinking about using that for lumber storage.
Where?
Well, maybe in this gravel, sometimes,
On the back gravel, or
yeah, that's here, right?
where the Tappan Zee Bridge pieces are sitting right now.
lumber there.
Sounds like you've been to the property.
You just go to Stewart's, you're there.
The other kind of odd rectangle shape there is the secondary expansion area for the septic. So not,
That's up there.
Yeah.
You're good at it.
Where's the main septic?
main septic is, if you go back down. It's right off of Route 83, to the left of the visitor parking lot.
Gotcha.
And so I'll point out that the septic is a raised bed type 1 septic because of the soil conditions. Currently, the groundscape there is of a naturalized landscape with, tall kind of wildflower grasses. So that will help to obscure the minor topographical change that will come with that raised bed system.
Okay, so now the more sticky part. So there's like, we're talking 1, 2, 3.5, or whatever the gallery is, uses on this piece of property.
I mean, the principal use is the mill with the warehouse as an accessory to it, the showroom as an accessory to it, the apartment within the showroom as an accessory to that is for the owner's use. I don't think that we think they're distinctive principal uses exactly. They're more like one single principal use with multiple accessories. There are, I think, in the way that we've defined it with our bulk table, multiple principal buildings. And accordingly, we will require an area variance for that, as well as the total gross square footage of principal building use.
And okay, and the principal use being manufacturing of wood fronts.
Yeah.
Which is gonna be happening in which building exactly? The one on top?
The one on.
So what are we thinking about this more? So we kind of we've gone over this, so we think that this is doable?
Hmm.
I think we said it was a continuation of what the previous owner was doing.
In a different, yeah. George, comments. Did you get a chance to look? I know there was some snafu with the file
Yeah.
and,
Briefly, I do need to
yeah,
obviously delve
sit
into
with it.
George.
Hello.
Here's the key.
Let's see. So I looked at it briefly this afternoon, but not.
Yeah, I apologize. We had the file and then we thought we transferred it into a thing that everyone could see, but then everyone couldn't see it, so we definitely.
Did you get a hard copy?
No.
Do you want a hard copy?
Nah, I have it digitally now, so.
Okay.
Lauren, did you want to have a hard copy?
Of the other plans, I'd like, yeah,
The one that's in the set I gave you,
are they in here?
and that big thing I gave you there.
That, Lauren.
Right here, Warren.
That's all right.
More
More
stuff.
stuff. More stuff.
Each Labella people are so thorough. They have put so much effort
Fantastic.
and they've kept us honest. They've answered a lot of questions already.
Yeah.
Can you go over the wetland situation and what is there and where, the boundaries and?
Sure, so kind of hard to tell, but this straight line with the 2 dots marks the edge of the wetland. So this is wetland. It goes here and then it comes back and it goes here. And then it's all up along the stream, you see all the way down here. So we don't have any direct wetland impacts. The way that your code reads, we think there may be a chance that we need area variance from a wetland buffer. Do you have a 100-foot buffer? Yes,
think we
okay,
do,
good.
yeah.
The way it reads, there's some clauses in that sentence and it's kind of hard to tell whether it applied or anyway. Okay, so yeah, so we are occupying a portion of the buffer with both, with both impervious and pervious surfaces to make this development work. And so as we understand it now, they're federally regulated wetlands. And
See where we're.
at this stage, no.
But we're gonna track that down. Yeah.
Questions?
We have to get variances from the ZBA, right?
Yes.
So,
There are a few other variances. So we talked about the principal buildings being more than one principal building. greater than a certain, greater than the maximum gross floor area of principal use. We also need the parking variance, which you mentioned previously. The wetland buffer, if that's a variance, I think it may be a planning board action. And then we also need the setback, a variance from the warehouse setback, which is 100 feet.
From where?
100, it's 100 feet, I believe, from the road.
So, so the second building, you mean?
Well,
I mean, there's already a warehouse there, right? And that's within,
it's within it, yeah.
Existing non-conforming. I mean, it's a no-brainer, they'll get it.
Yeah.
well, the existing's conforming though, isn't it?
There.
No?
Not conforming to current zoning, right?
But no, as far as the,
Not 100 feet, I mean, again, you,
where are we talking, oh, we're from 82?
83. This building is obviously less.
Oh,
than
it's
100.
supposed to be 100 feet. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going the other way, because they're always trying to move things closer.
it's a foregone,
Yeah,
you should get, should apply for it.
We're also seeking county highway permits for the 3 accesses. I think currently there are 2, and we're changing the direction of them, or sorry, the location of them a little bit. We'll need approval from Dutchess County Department of Health for the septic. And we did speak briefly with Ray Jurakowski from the water improvement area. We're going to connect to a 6-inch ductile iron pipe right around here. And then we have 2 infiltration systems. One's up here, one's here. We have 3 hydrodynamic separators, which serve to improve water quality. And then we have filtration bioretention here and a plunge pool, which is again for water quality.
is water used in the processing of any of this?
No.
The parking variance, that's a variance, or is that a waiver from us? Because we've done that in the past. I thought.
What is the required parking?
99,
What you're seeking, what happened?
32.
I think the ZBA would do that.
And for seeker, we believe to be an unlisted action.
I think it's a little type wording.
I looked at type 1 today. I didn't think so.
Yeah. Only because you're disturbing 5.2 acres.
Yep.
So, and it's an ag district.
No.
Oh, it's not?
No, it isn't. No.
Yeah.
No.
I checked that one specifically.
Ah, okay. I thought
Across the road is an ag district. but we're not in it.
it's hard to believe you. If you're not in the ag district, you're probably using it unlisted ag district. You are the ag district.
Oh, we're also seeking the lot line adjustment, to absorb the 6.8 portion of land from Dale. And then ultimately to consolidate the parcel.
So if it's an unlisted action, coordinated review is optional. I don't know whether you still want to do one. In any event, if you are inclined to do one, then it would be timely to circulate for lead agency, I think, at this point with our FEIF submitted. But I don't know if you've made a decision on that yet. If you do a coordinated review, the ZBA can't act until you complete your secret review. If you don't do one,
Well, they can't finalize.
they can't formally act on the variances, correct?
Warren, what do you think we should be doing?
It's up to you. I mean, if it's not a type 1 action, you're not mandated to do a coordinated review. They have provided a long form EAF, which is not required in the unlisted, but in this project.
We want
Who are the involved agencies? You got them listed.
Dutchess County Department of Health, we'll need the general permit, for coverage for stormwater activities from the DEC. Also the county's highway department, and then the ZBA.
I can't imagine any of those agencies
Yeah.
vying for lead agency status. So assuming that it is in fact unlisted action, but if you double check, then you don't need to do a coordinated review. That's, it takes time because we have to solicit for lead agency. They have 30 days to respond to that, and then so that's going to hold up
If we do a coordinated review.
if you do a coordinated.
Otherwise, we just declare ourselves lead agency
Declare yourself lead agency.
and then send them to the
But you're gonna
ZBA.
have to do your secrets before it goes to the ZBA. Well, it could actually go to the ZBA, but they can't you may want to make application to the ZBA while the town is conducting its secret review. It has to conduct a secret review of the entire project.
Okay,
And said,
so you're gonna do the secret review for the
yeah, we
entire
have to do the
project.
whole.
So then it would be a coordinated review, right?
Why would it then be a coordinated review? Well, because
Cause you guys are making a secret determination for the zoning board's variances and planning board's variance.
Yeah, I think if it's an uncoordinated review, the ZBA can do its own secret.
Yeah.
For.
I don't want
You don't want them to know? Okay.
You mean for the variance?
Yeah.
Really want that? You want them to do a secret?
They can, I mean, I'm just saying that under uncoordinated review, the involved agencies
I
don't
think,
have to wait for the lead
Right.
agency to make a decision, so.
It might be better to do a coordinated review and then you guys do secret.
we
No.
could solicit
No,
for
if
their
they
responses in
can
advance of
respond
30
early.
days.
I can't, my experience, none of those agencies are gonna buy for.
Yeah.
Right, same token, it'll take them.
But would they get back to us?
Yeah, you have to bug them.
Well,
We can send, we sent it by email in the past, right? Like for,
Yeah, we can bug them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we anticipated that it would be a coordinated review.
so,
And we do plan to, with your blessing, submit to the ZBA as soon as possible to get them familiar with the area variances, to work through any questions that they have, so that when the secret determination is made, hopefully in our favor, we can then go straight back to them for approval of the variances, and so on and so forth.
in your packet, do you list all the variances? I know you refer to the variances, but I'm not sure you list.
They're in there, but I can make it explicit in
list,
an email
just so
for
we're-
you.
we're
Yeah,
Of variances.
Yep.
You guys want to prepare the notice?
Sure.
That'll expedite things.
If you vote to circulate tonight, we'll prepare the notice.
Yeah,
Al, you a neighbor? What do you anticipate? Are you going to be able to work on this?
I can look at it objectively.
good, that's good. So, we're gonna have the applicant prepare the notice, but you can vote tonight. That you are going to try to assume lead agency status. Declare it for the time being, unlisted action unless we find otherwise. And that you'll circulate for lead agency status with the applicant submitting the notice of circulation to all the involved agencies. Send it to me for my approval. I'll send it to the board.
Sure.
Can I have a motion to vie for leave agency on an unlisted action? What was the rest of it? And circulate to the involved agencies.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There we go. Off you go.
thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Is it what? Something else?
Well, I spoke with Warren about this, or I had emailed a while ago. One of the questions we had, you may not be able to answer tonight, but once secret is completed, we're in contract to buy the portion of the adjoining lot that will merge into this Lockwood project. And we would like to close on that as soon as possible if we can. So the question is, if we get to a point where you're comfortable with the lot line application, all the information in it. Would it be possible to do that in advance of some of the other approvals? If you're still looking at the rest of
We could do a lot line adjustment and with no, with no guarantee that any other approvals would be forthcoming.
Sure.
After the seeker,
Yeah,
That's,
but after the whole suit.
I'm okay with
yeah,
So how long do you think our seeker is gonna take? And you don't think it's gonna be,
it. I don't see it being very contentious, but
okay. So, yeah.
you never know how long people come out of the woodwork.
We already have one letter anticipating,
Saw what he did there.
we already have one letter anticipating your application
Was it negative?
in negatively.
we'll respond to everything. And
Did you say the copy?
yes, and it just,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I didn't consider it a part of any record because we didn't have an application, but if you could send that to Warren. But somebody sent a letter, I don't know, it was like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, maybe. It was after you made you made a preliminary a presentation here. Yeah, so I think in January we received the one.
You know,
You never know what Warren was saying, you never know someone's gonna have, what they're gonna have a problem.
Seller, quite eager to close and.
I'm familiar.
Yes, we are very familiar with that. If you get that elevation that we talked about from 82, like again, even the county's gonna be looking at that gateway property, like what's that gonna look like driving into the community? So. Right, all right, good luck.
thank you.
There.
Yeah. All right.
This is great.
All right, next up on the application is, on the agenda is the Stissing Center petitioning for I guess, extension or renewal of their site plan that we approved. And we have Doug and Patrick.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. So yes, our
Actually, hold on 1 second, Doug, when we were. That's all right. Okay, go ahead.
but you got it exactly right. We are looking for an extension. I understand that our expiration date is basically upon us. We are currently not doing any work, but plan to get back to work next month, and so we're looking for a 6-month extension to get us to September of 2025.
Well, how about what is the status of everything right now? Like what has been done? What is your plan? And how's that gonna go?
Sure. I mean, as you know, this project has been all along been done in phases. The most recent phase is a couple of things. One is we put in entirely new septic, and that was completed a few months ago in 2024. And we're also, and Doug, you can probably speak to this a little bit more specifically. We've been doing a lot of enabling work to get us ready for the next phase. The next phase includes a stabilization project. As you all are aware, the building's stability was in question, so we'll be erecting what it amounts to a steel skeleton within the building to make sure that it's there for generations to come. So that is the next step. And that will be, we're planning to begin that this spring, maybe as soon as late April, early May. And what follows that is the building of the extension in the back. So, it doesn't all happen at once, obviously, right? So the next step will be the stabilization project, followed by the construction of the extension in the back.
And the roof? What's the status of the roof?
Yeah, I can sort of explain that. The stabilization of it's really of the attic. The brick parapets need to be stabilized. The roof will be, the rubber roof at the top is new. We did that in our first phase. It's just the slate on the mansard part, which will be, we're gonna redo that as part of the second phase. The first phase was making way for the rear addition. We had to move the septic tanks, we had to move the propane tanks, we had to move the air conditioning units. And so we had to get them all out of the area, which is why Patrick called it enabling work. And then the air conditioning units are on the scaffolding. The scaffolding is there in preparation for this next phase. So that will be some reframing in the attic, some steel to support the structure at the stage and to help us with the stability, and then replacing the slate. And we hope to paint it and bring the scaffolding down as soon as possible, because the scaffolding has a monthly rental associated with it. So it's in our interest to do that quickly. And once that's all done, we're looking at the funding, hoping for the funding for the rear addition to be next after that.
And then what? Is there, then the outside's done then, or the stairs? What about the stairs on the left? Wasn't something
the
happening
stairs-
over there?
Oh, there was a plan to do
side
a
stairs.
porch. Yeah, there's a plan to do a porch on the side, and then there's a plan to finish the attic, and then there's more phases to put in all the theatrical equipment. So at the moment, some of the interior fundraising is showing us out several years.
And the side porch, I will say, is among the lowest priorities because it is sort of a nice to have, not a must have, whereas most everything else that you've approved previously is a must have.
Okay, so once the scaffolding comes down, what's gonna be on that left side then?
There will be a gutter system in place to stop the rain from dropping into that lower entry, which was why there was a temporary entrance there. That was in our resolution that we had to get rid of that, which we did get rid of. So, once the scaffolding comes down, we will have proper drainage there. But we don't need to.
So the temporary thing won't be going back up over on that side.
That's correct.
That's correct.
And so all the things have been moved over to that area we approved before this time, I think, right? We approved the garbage area and the HVAC stuff or whatever is going in that area, correct?
Yeah, that was an update to the first approval when we acquired the house directly to our west. And we moved sort of the condensing units and the transformer and propane tanks over there onto the back of that lot. Because our first approval, we did not own the house to our west.
So 6 months gets us to September, you're saying?
Yes, the date that if we were to extend by 6 months would be September 13th.
What is the rule on how long can we extend something?
What are we extending at this point exactly?
So the last approval that we gave with the rear section that they're gonna put in along the back and well, I guess the side thing that sounds like they're not gonna be doing
Yeah, I
anytime
don't
soon.
think it really matters what's in our code because courts have held that the planning boards have wide discretion to extend time periods. So I'm okay with the 6 months from a legal standpoint.
I
Would
don't
it make sense to make it longer? or-
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Make it a year. They're not gonna have, it's not gonna be done in 6 months.
Yeah.
So let's make it a year.
Make it realistic.
Yes, that's my point.
We're all for
Oh.
making it a year. That sounds great.
Okay.
What do you say, 2 years?
No, but you think the scaffolding will be coming down fairly soon? Right, when does that come down then?
When we finish the stabilization project and the roof, and just to be clear, we may not be able to take all of it down, but we could take down what's on the front, but the scaffolding will still be necessary in the back where we're building the extension. Is that correct, Doug? In order to have a place to...
It's this on the west where the air conditioning units are up
Mhm.
on the top. We put them up there to get them off the ground, and they're actually sitting on the scaffolding. So we might actually purchase that tower that's on the west, which you don't really see. You don't see it from 199. You don't see it from the Stissing House lawn. So we would like to just leave them there. Otherwise, we have to move them twice. They're supposed to end up on the roof of the addition, but that we got to negotiate with the scaffolding company. That's part of what we're negotiating right now.
But to answer your
Leave them up there
question,
and-
yeah, the rest of it would be gone. So like when you drive by on 199, you wouldn't see scaffolding because it would be just in the back on the west side.
And I do appreciate the wrap or whatever, to try to make it look decent. And although some of it started blowing around, and it's different story. It's been there a while, right? And I know in the back too. But okay, so
Why don't you schedule it for an update in 6 months, so they come back in 6 months, tell you where they are, so we don't get to a year and then find out they need another year or 6 months.
Makes sense.
All motion.
Who's things along?
It's got what to only approve it for 6 months. For 6 months, sure. Fine, that's fine. Yeah. All right. So can we do this by verbal, or do we have to? Yeah.
Nothing, do we need a motion?
Yes, we need a motion.
A motion to extend the, whatever it is.
Site plan approval.
Site plan approval for a year and invite them back in 6 months and in a year to give us 2 updates.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Another extension.
Thanks,
Good luck.
everybody.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Take care.
Have a great night.
You too.
Is there this place where you vacation at in the Cape? There's an old building.
Oh, I didn't look at these. Did you look at these February minutes?
It's like this.
You guys both have mine.
I did? Oh, was this out? Oh, it was a while. Oh, I didn't look at the other minutes, the ZRC minutes. That's what I didn't know. Okay,
It's a nice building.
I made comments.
Yeah, about this. About, right.
Okay, oh, right. All right, so. So everyone got a chance to look at the February minutes? Does anyone have any comments or changes?
Right.
Can I have approval of, motion to approve the February minutes?
So made.
Second. All in favor? All opposed? They're approved. Ed, hang out, please. I'm sorry. I've been hanging out too much. And other business, I don't know. Do we have any other business? I sent some, there's been some education things coming in. I didn't send it. They came in the email. Judges Planning's got some courses going on. Check them out.
Can we discuss the matter that came by attorney?
Oh, by the way,
Oh, you want to have an attorney-client session?
No, I don't, but I was wondering if something happened that's public, why can we discuss it?
He's talking about the attorney-client issue you emailed us about today?
yeah, just to let you know.
We were doing an open session.
Yeah,
Okay.
the notice, the appeal has been withdrawn. So we're finished with litigation.
The appeal for.
Carson Powell.
Carson Powers, yeah. So. Put that to rest, and then we're gonna follow up on what they need now. I think.
Well, they cut down the trees, or they're doing a little bit more cutting this week.
Has a look.
I can't see, you drive by, no? The only thing they do is they had to cut some, I guess, for the sight distances on the entrance. There's some trees along there. They're trying to get people to come, to get the wood, who wants the wood. They're working on that. That's
told Jamie.
That's the last.
Yeah.
Good.
That's the kind of wood he goes.
That's the last I've heard from.
The other important thing is that now we need the conservation easement to file, because that's what they were waiting for, so
Yeah.
I'll contact them, get that done. But.
Good job.
Yes, good job, Warren. Okay. So, what else? And anyone have anything else? We have some other applications we should be hearing from soon. interesting things coming. So,
Oh, boy.
we'll see.
with a raise.
Can't wait.
Yeah, we'll see how the town feels.
Amending.
Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?